So let's talk about love. We've all been sold this idea of what it's supposed to be, right? This neat, tidy version that should just work. But what happens when that idea smacks right into the messy, complicated, and honestly beautiful reality of human connection? Well, that's what we're going to get into.
This short piece here, it's called Paper Love. And it hits home, doesn't it? On paper, everything looks perfect. The compatibility scores are through the roof. The algorithms say yes. But we all know, deep down, that's not the whole story, is it?
And that's the big question, really. If love isn't just some formula you can solve, then what are we actually dealing with when we try to connect with another person? Let's start by tearing apart this whole idea of paper love. All right, first up, we're diving right into the heart of the matter, the huge gap between the idea of love and the real, live, in-the-moment experience of it.
So you can kind of see the two sides of the coin here. On one side, you've got love as theory. It's neat, it's predictable, it follows all the rules, it's what the dating apps promise you. But on the other side, love as experience. And that's human. It's messy. It defies all logic. It's something you have to live, not something you can just plan out on a spreadsheet.
This quote from the source material absolutely nails it. You can study love, you can read all the books, you can analyze it till you're blue in the face, but none of that is the same as actually being in it. It has to be lived, you know? It happens in that real person-to-person connection.
So where does this whole paper love fantasy even come from? Well, a huge part of it is this cultural myth we're all fed about the perfect partner and the fairy tale romance. Let's dig into that a little. I love this piece, Perfect Partner, because it kind of pokes fun at that checklist approach we all know. You make a list, you find someone who ticks every single box, and boom, happily ever after. Sounds amazing, right? But reality usually has other plans.
And here is that dose of reality. This quote from relationship coach Terry Real introduces a pretty startling idea: normal marital hatred. Now, hold on. It's not about actually hating your partner. It's about making it normal, totally okay even, to have moments of intense conflict and frustration in a long-term relationship. It's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're two real humans trying to build a life together.
So why is this a big deal? Because this constant search for the perfect ideal has real consequences. Believing in one soulmate can make us shut down completely if a relationship ends. We start dating the highlight reel, you know? The polished, first date version of a person, and then we're shocked when their messy, complicated, real self shows up. And maybe the biggest trap of all, we see conflict as a deal breaker instead of seeing it for what it can be, a chance to grow.
Okay, so this brings us to the absolute core idea of what we're talking about today. What if all that conflict and messiness, what if they aren't problems to be fixed? What if they're actually gifts? What if our relationships are one of the most powerful tools we have for discovering who we really are? This piece, Mirror Me, it just paints such a beautiful picture. It's this idea that the path to truly knowing someone else is the exact same path you take to know yourself. The relationship literally becomes a mirror.
So what exactly is a relationship mirror?
Well, it's that moment when someone else does or says something, and your reaction, it shines a spotlight right back on you. It's not really about them, it's about what it reveals inside of you. Your triggers, your old wounds, all that unconscious programming you've been carrying around. Your reaction is telling you a story about your own internal world.
I mean, this line is just so powerful. Think about it. If someone pushes your buttons, it only works because that button was already installed inside of you. They didn't create it. They just happened to find it. The real gift isn't getting triggered. It's the sudden awareness that, oh wow, that button is mine.
So how do you actually use this mirror in real life? Well, here's a pretty simple path. First, you just notice it. You feel that jolt of emotion. You're triggered. Step 2, instead of pointing the finger, you take a breath and recognize, okay, that's my button. Then, step 3, you get curious. Why is that button even there? What old belief or past experience created it? And that curiosity, that's the beginning of the real inner work.
All right, let's bring this all home. How do we take these insights and actually use them? This final part is all about making a shift, from being driven by our past to actually living and loving in the present moment. This conditioning piece lays it out so clearly. So often we're living historically, right? Our reactions today are just reruns of old programs from our past. And that can cause us to overreact, to show up hysterically based on old hurts. The goal is to finally see that programming, to intentionally disrupt it, and to start experiencing life as it is right now, currently.
When you're living historically, you're basically on autopilot. You're just repeating old patterns, reacting from old pain, and honestly, you're pretty closed off to anything new happening. But living currently? Well, that's about being present, being aware, and making conscious choices in the now. It's about being open to what's real, right here in front of you.
Here's a perfect, if painful, example of living historically. A guy named Ian shared a story about breaking up with someone he really liked. And it wasn't because of anything that was actually happening in their relationship. It was because one of his friends had been hurt in a similar situation before. His fear, which was the product of someone else's past, completely shut down a real present possibility for him.
But then you've got the other side of the coin. Another person, Claudette, talked about being completely stuck, unable to move on from a past love. The only thing that worked for her was practicing mindfulness, learning to just be present. Present with her cup of tea, present in the shower, and by focusing on the now, she was finally able to break free and open herself up to life again.
So I want to leave you with this question. We usually get into relationships looking for something: companionship, happiness, someone to complete us. But what if we've had it backwards? What if the real, profound gift of connecting with another human being is that they serve as the perfect mirror, giving us the chance to finally, truly meet ourselves?